Today we're making bacon ribs, a dish that has been on the menu at Leroy & Lewis since the days of the food truck, and a recipe you can find in my new cookbook, New School Barbecue, Recipes for Next Level Smoking and Grilling, on sale everywhere books are sold May 12th. The bacon rib is essentially just a bacon-cured, belly-on pork spare rib. And that can be a cut that is a little bit difficult to find. It's not going to be available at your traditional grocery store or big box store. You might have to ask a local butcher for it, but there are a few places you can buy it online. Just an easy, simple bone-in pork belly search on Google produced Porter Road and a couple other ranches you can buy this cut from. It is a little bit expensive. It's kind of a showpiece. It's a big recipe. It's in the big pork chapter of this book, which are kind of meant to be larger recipes to feed a crowd. Think holidays, special occasions. This is a recipe that takes a lot of time. We're going to be curing this pork belly for a week or more. And then the active cooking time when we're actually cooking it is going to be most of a day. So I would say this is a big project recipe, but I promise you it's worth it. The end result is salty, smoky, sweet, unctuous, delicious, bone-in pork belly. It's a spare rib with a pork belly attached. It's cured like bacon. It has everything you want in it. So the first step that we're going to do is unwrap this. We're going to put a cure on it. That cure is going to go on for about 7 to 10 days. If it were a little bit thicker, I would go for maybe even 14, but probably not push too much longer than that. The cure we're going to use, pink curing salt number 1, and then brown sugar. It's just going to sit like that, and then once it's off of cure, we're going to smoke it until it is about 155 all the way through, cool it down, cut the ribs individually into these nice big show pieces, reseason them with brown sugar and black pepper, and then smoke them till they are nice and tender. We also have a glaze that we will make later that involves some pork stock, a bunch of brown sugar, and some bourbon. It's going to be really nice. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I got this pork belly from Du Breton Farms. It's not a Texas ranch, sadly, but we do use all Texas beef and pork and meat at Leroy & Lewis. Du Breton is from Canada. They're an organic ranch, and they have really high quality stuff. Right off the bat, it looks really good. We have the membrane removed, which might be an issue for the bones later, but I think it's going to be fine. It looks really nice and square. We're going to do a little bit of trimming to kind of make it more square for our purposes, and then we also need to take this layer of skin off. So I'm going to do that first. Really just trying to go right underneath the skin, not take too much of that fat away. Peeling it back with these nice long strokes. That's going to make sure we don't lose too much. The recipe in the book will tell you how to butcher these from a whole pig, because that's what we do at Leroy & Lewis. But it's a lot easier to purchase this cut if you can find it. But I do encourage you to do a little bit of butchering at home.
Do you have a recommendation for knife?
It was the kind of like the most boning knife shaped one that I had at the house. The rest of my knives were at work, I apologize. But a boning knife is really what you want for this. Really just trying to pull back and cut exactly where the skin separates. All right, all off in one sheet. You can use this to make chicharron, pigskin noodles, maybe a football. I'm going to trim up the back of this a little bit like a rack of ribs. Kind of want it to go straight up here because we want our bones, our final ribs, to be straight. So I'm kind of going to take a piece off like that. And don't think for a second that we are throwing any of these meat scraps away. I'll make something with them. We're going to take off the chine here. And then just kind of try to make it a little bit more parallel. So probably just like that. This is a little bit shorter, I think, than we cut them at the restaurant, but that's going to be a really nice rack of bacon ribs right there. Now it's time to season this thing up, get it on cure. I've got mine pre-weighed out salt, brown sugar, and pink salt. With this thing weighing in at about 4,300 grams, I have 1/4% of pink curing salt number 1. That was 10 grams, and I have 86 grams each, which is 2% of kosher salt and brown sugar. I'm just gonna mix these up, and then this is gonna be our cure. We're gonna season this, wrap it in plastic, and park it in the fridge for probably, I'm gonna say 10 days. All over the front and all over the back, and I'm gonna make sure I use all of this cure, and all of it goes into the containers that I'm putting it in. Rubbing it everywhere, getting all the sides, making sure every square inch of this is covered. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up, put it in the fridge for about 10 days, and then we're gonna come back, finish it off. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, these beautiful bacon ribs, belly on spare ribs from Do Bread and Pork have been cured, they've been rinsed, they've been dried, and now it's time to smoke. This is the initial bacon smoke, so we're only gonna take it to about 155 degrees internal. I'm estimating it's gonna take about 4 hours at 225. We are smoking on the Traeger today. I got the signature pellets in there. I'm gonna pop in one of these little thermometers. We're gonna close this guy up. Set the probe to 155. So I'm estimating this cook is gonna take 4 hours. We're gonna come back then, and hopefully the bacon ribs have taken on a lot of color and they're 155 internal. At that point, we're going to chill them down a little bit, cut them individually, re-season them with black pepper and brown sugar, and then smoke them till they are nice and tender. Wrap them up in foil with some of our bacon rib glaze. It's gonna be delicious. 4 hours later, and our bacon ribs are now bacon. Beautiful color on these guys. They reached about 155 internal, probably 20 minutes or so. I was able to control the Traeger on my phone, and I just knocked the temperature down to the keep warm function. And so it's been sitting there since, and they're sitting right here nicely at about 158 degrees internal. They look fantastic. They've taken on incredible color. I'm gonna take these in and put them in the refrigerator to cool down a little bit. And we're gonna cut them up, re-season them with black pepper and brown sugar, put them back on till they get nice and tender, and then wrap them up with a glaze in some foil. It's at this point when the book recommends to chill them overnight, which is, I think, better. I think they set up a little bit better, but for the sake of filming this video today, we're going to cool them down just briefly and then cut them. Into the fridge they go for a few minutes to cool down. We'll be back in a minute. While the bacon ribs are cooling briefly, I'm going to put together the very simple rub that's gonna go on them once we do the double smoke. This is gonna be black pepper and brown sugar. It's roughly equal parts of each. I'm really not gonna weigh these out, but it's pretty much volumetric, equal parts of each. Use all this brown sugar, and then not quite all this pepper, but about that much. I'm just gonna mix these together. Sugar is obviously gonna make it nice and sweet and caramelize. Black pepper is gonna give us that nice Texas style bark, also reminiscent of peppered bacon. It's gonna look fantastic. This is kind of my go-to rub on any like burnt end, pork belly burnt end, and you can go anywhere from here. You can add garlic powder, any kind of chili powders, paprika, other kind of herbs, but a really good base of this nice kind of coarse ground black pepper and brown sugar is going to get the job done. I've also turned the pit back up. It was on the keep warm mode. I set it up to 275. So by the time the bacon ribs come off and we cut them, season them, it's going to be up to temp. We'll be rolling. After a brief rest, chill down period in the fridge, these bacon ribs are about 140 internal. That only took about 30 minutes. Again, amazing color. The trim is doing us a lot of favors here. It looks great. So now we're going to cut these into individual pieces. The goal is to cut them nice and parallel so we can have a nice presenting piece. This kind of first bone, if it kind of sticks out like that, like it usually is, I'm just going to trim that little bone off because that in itself is not going to be a very good bacon rib. But the next one, since I made that cut nice and straight, will be a very nice looking bacon rib. Oh yeah, looks great. Now we just cut the rest of these, trying to make sure they are as straight as possible. These look fantastic. Oh my gosh, I'm getting very excited now. These center cut ones are just gonna be, oh. This pork from Do Bread and Pork in Canada, certified humane raised, certified organic, really amazing looking product. This is when the bones kind of start to come back. So I'm going to consciously kind of make this one a little wedge. That way this next bone is very straight. And then this last guy, just try to trim that little bone out there. If it's kind of thin like that on one end, I usually take that off. These are nice little chef snacks. But we've got these bacon ribs cut. That's a full rack. Usually one of these can serve 2 to 3 people once it's all finished up. This is very fatty, very rich. Again, very salty and sweet. I'm gonna take some of this brown sugar black pepper mix. Just kind of put it down on the plate first. And then very simply, we're just gonna coat these everywhere, just like we do beef cheeks, just like we do burgers, just like we do briskets, everything. Coverage everywhere. These are looking great. You can already tell just how that bark looks that these are going to be delicious. These two, I'm going to chill down and save for another use another time. But while we're here, we're going to put these on the smoker. What we're looking for when they finish is going to be very similar to a pork belly burn end, a bacon burn end, a brisket burn end. They're going to be nice and soft and tender. They're going to darken up quite a bit. I'm expecting this to take about another 4 hours or so. We're going to close the lid, keep an eye on it. After about 3 to 3.5 hours in the smoker, these bacon ribs are ready. They're tender, they're barked up, they're glistening, they're looking delicious. Let's pull them off the smoker. After that, we're gonna go inside, make a glaze for them, wrap them up in foil with that glaze, rest them a little bit, and then we'll plate everything up and take a taste test. But for now, these things look incredible. The tenderness is perfect, just slightly yielding but holding their shape. Pull the probe out, and they look really good. They're nice and pliable. Just gonna start stacking them up on this little tray here. That bark looks great, nicely adhered to the bacon ribs. And like the fat is just so rendered, like right in the middle where it's just a bunch of fat. It's super tender. They look great. I'm so excited. I hardly ever get to cook barbecue at home, and I mean the magic of something coming out exactly how you want it to come out is still very real and still gets me very excited. So these bacon ribs are gonna be amazing. I'm gonna feed the family tonight. Probably a bunch of people at work tomorrow. This bacon rib glaze comes together very quickly. I'm gonna do it in this little carbon steel Yeti that I have, little 10-inch. We used to use maple syrup as the glaze for this pork belly rib or this bacon rib, but we changed the glaze recently because we wanted it to be kind of more multi-dimensional. So we're gonna start with a little bit of lard in here, and I'm just gonna melt this. We're gonna go kind of over medium heat. And right away, I'm gonna put in some scallion whites and just some garlic cloves. And I'm really just gonna start to sweat those down. Nothing crazy, we just want a little bit of color on these. These are gonna cook for just a few minutes, probably less than 5 minutes. They're gonna change color a little bit, get maybe a touch of browning. And then after that, we're gonna deglaze with some whiskey, flambe, and then put the rest of the ingredients in and reduce it. Pretty simple. I'm gonna dump just a little bit of this oil out because we're gonna flambe, and I don't want to cause a scene. So we have our bourbon here. Turn the heat off, just to be safe. Oh yeah, yeah! It never gets old. Cooking with fire inside never gets old. We're gonna flambe this, let the alcohol cook off. You can start to see some of the color on top of the scallions. Keep that on low for just a minute. And then keep a lid handy to close it down. There we go. Now we're gonna go in with some of the other ingredients. We've got some sambal here. I've got some brown sugar. Some Worcestershire sauce, gonna give it a nice deep color. Lastly, I have some pork stock. This is our glaze. Not quite glazy yet, but after it reduces by about half, it'll be nice and glazy. We'll strain it and then pour it over the ribs when we wrap them up in foil. This is all gonna concentrate, cook together, reduce. All the flavors are gonna meld together. It's gonna be rich, sweet, tangy, just a little bit spicy. It's gonna be perfect for these bacon ribs. Finishing it with a little bit of salt and pepper, and we're in business. So luxurious, velvety, that looks perfect. With the bacon ribs done and slightly rested and the bacon rib glaze done, it's time to give them a little wrap. And this is just to kind of rest them a little bit, have this glaze kind of infuse a little bit. Nice and tender. Just a little bit of that glaze on top. Finally, after about 2 weeks of curing, a couple hours of smoking, and then a couple more hours of smoking to tenderness, our bacon ribs are ready. They've been glazed. They have sat and rested for a while, and they're looking absolutely fabulous. I'm gonna unwrap one of these. Looks great, perfect size. Look at that. I don't know if these could have come out any better looking, to be honest. That is a Leroy & Lewis bacon rib. Okay, I don't know if I've ever sat down in front of a whole tray of bacon ribs, but I'm gonna go for one here. I'm gonna go for this littler guy. And man, look at that. That looks so good. You know, when we were kind of coming up with the idea for this, we were trying to figure out how we can serve pork ribs on our menu at Leroy & Lewis, but still source everything locally. So we decided to break down these pigs, keep the belly on, and then turn the pork rib into this much larger, bigger presentation piece. And then if we're gonna make it count, really like bite for bite, pack as much flavor and sweetness and everything into there as we can, we cured it like bacon. So bacon cured, cold smoked, smoked again, pork belly on spare ribs. Here we go. Whoa! Mmm. Wow. That's just an experience. We say it all the time about the bacon rib. It has everything you want when it comes to barbecue. sweet, salty, fatty, smoky, unctuous, delicious. It's on a bone. What more do you want? Oh my God. Might just sit here and eat this in silence. It's that good. Thanks for watching this bacon rib video. If you want to eat one of these, you can come down to Leroy and Lewis on a Saturday, get in line pretty early, or you can pick up a copy of my new book, New School Barbecue, that I wrote with Paula Forbes. It is out everywhere books are sold, May 12th. Pre-orders are available, and you can get them on Amazon, on a local retailer website, or like I said, anywhere books are sold. Thanks for sticking around. Like and subscribe to this channel.